It is 9 o'clock. Your silent auction closes at 10. The room is loud. People are drinking. And nobody is looking at the bid sheets. You are terrified the event is going to fizzle out. You imagine guests leaving early. You picture money left on the table. You worry the final hour will feel like a slow deflation. Most organizers just wait and hope. Elite organizers do not wait. They use the final 60 minutes to manufacture urgency. They drive a late revenue surge that changes the total. Today, we are looking at what the top 10% do in that final hour. You can use these 3 tactics at your very next event. They cost nothing to implement. They require 0 new technology. They just require a shift in your timeline. This is the $1 Million Nonprofit, the daily podcast for fundraising practitioners. Every episode gives you one specific tip to raise more money. If you want your next auction to close strong, welcome. Before we get into the tactics, today's episode is brought to you by charityauctions.com. That is the platform powering thousands of nonprofit events every year. The data from those events reveals a clear pattern. Auctions that follow a strict timeline raise significantly more money. Timing is everything on event night, so the team at charityauctions.com built a free event night checklist. It is a 50-point guide that maps out every minute of your event. It ensures you never miss a revenue window. Download it free at charityauctions.com/event-checklist. I will put the link in the show notes. It is the exact timeline the best events use. Let us break down the final 60 minutes. The first tactic is the closing countdown script. Most organizers make a generic announcement. They say, the auction closes in 15 minutes. That sounds like a warning. It does not sound like an invitation. The top 10% use a script that creates urgency without sounding desperate. They anchor the announcement to the mission. The MC says, in 15 minutes, we close the auction and open the new shelter. If you want to be part of that, get to the tables now. That script changes the energy in the room. It reminds people why they are bidding. It makes the final minutes feel like a shared victory. The room goes from a party to a purpose. You can literally feel the shift. People who are ignoring the tables suddenly turn around. They pull out their phones or walk over to the sheets. That is the power of a mission-anchored script. Write your countdown script before the event. Tie it directly to the outcome you are funding. Make them feel the impact of that final bid. When they hear the mission, they stop drinking and start bidding. It works every time. The second tactic is bid clustering. In the final 20 minutes, the energy in the room shifts. People migrate toward the bar or they exit. The top organizers physically move the auction to where the people are. They identify the slow-moving items. They pick up those bid sheets and items. They move them to a high-traffic table near the bar. They create a cluster of opportunity right where the guests are standing. This removes the physical friction of bidding. Guests do not have to walk across the room to find a deal. The deal is right in front of them. This tactic alone can save items that were stuck at the starting bid. It turns passive standing into active bidding. It also creates a sense of competition. When 5 people are gathered around one table at the bar, other guests get curious. They walk over to see what the crowd is looking at. Suddenly your slow items are the center of attention. You manufactured a bidding war just by changing the geography of the room. Plan your cluster table location during your venue walkthrough. Make sure it is well lit. Assign 2 volunteers to manage the move at the 40-minute mark. Watch the bids roll in. The third tactic is the floor walk. This is the secret weapon of elite auctions. In the final 30 minutes, you deploy a trained volunteer. Their job is not to serve drinks or answer questions. Their job is to walk the room and instigate bids. They carry a clipboard with the current high bids. They approach guests who have been outbid. They use a specific low-pressure script. They say, I noticed you were outbid on the spa package. It is currently at $400. Would you like me to place a bid for $450 on your behalf? This works because it is a service, not a demand. It flatters the guest. It makes bidding effortless. The guest does not have to put down their drink. They do not have to find a pen. They just say yes. The volunteer is asking on behalf of the charity. It feels like an exclusive invitation. It feels like VIP treatment. The guest feels seen and valued. A good floor walker can increase average bids by 15 to 20%. Train one volunteer specifically for this role. Give them the clipboard. Let them own the floor. It is the highest return on volunteer time in the entire event. You do not need a team of 10. You just need one outgoing person. They cannot be afraid to ask a simple question. Have them practice the script 3 times before the doors open. So let us recap the final hour tactics. First, use a closing countdown script. Anchor your announcements to the mission, not just the clock. Second, use bid clustering. Move slow items to high traffic areas in the final 20 minutes. Third, deploy a floor walk. Send a trained volunteer to personally invite outbid guests to jump back in. These 3 tactics turn a slow deflation into a revenue surge. They ensure you capture every dollar in the room. You work too hard on this event to let it fade out. End it with energy. End it with urgency. End it with maximum revenue. The final hour is where you separate a good event from a great one. It is where you hit your goal or fall short. Do not leave it to chance. Take control of the clock, take control of the room, manufacture the urgency your items deserve. If you want your entire event to run this smoothly, grab the free resource. The Event Night Checklist maps out all 50 points you need to hit. Download it at charityauctions.com/event-checklist. I will see you tomorrow for another tip to help you build $1 million nonprofit.